Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Welcome to a technical discussion on the upcoming update of the nodes called Bruno. And we'll see what we are doing, how you guys can participate in it, and how all the node operators and validators can sync up to the latest update. And with me today, I have Stanley from Anchor, Silly from Instone, and Romil
Hey.
from our very own Binance Smart Chain. Um, Shall we get right into it? Stanley, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, sure. All right. Thank you, everybody. Good morning, good evening. My name is Stanley, and I am the CTO and co-founder of Anchor. For anyone who are not familiar with Anchor, Anchor basically is a blockchain startup in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and we are one of the major Web3 infrastructure providers. So actually, we right now serving more than 4 billion requests to our product overall. So that's why we have a lot of experience, I will say, sometimes fighting to keep Binance Smart Chain up to speed. So today I'm very happy to share our experience with the community. Yeah.
I guess you have the best experience in the industry more than anyone
Mhm.
else. Moving on, Sally, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Sean. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. And yeah,
Sally, am I
Stanley, nice
audible?
to meet you. I don't think.
Mhm.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah, our office
you're
were,
audible.
Instance office were based in Palo Alto before, and I think I don't. We never had a chance to meet. We're really close to each other. But now I relocated to Texas, and I've been working with in Instones for 3 years now as a business director. And Infostones is focused on providing infrastructure service for the blockchain industry. Right now, we have integrated over 60 different protocols on our platform. Binance Smart Chain being one of them, and then we are one of the validators on BSC as well. So today, happy to be here and to share some of our opinions and our experience, running on Binance Smart Chain.
Great to have you here, Sally. And Rumil, our Binance Smart Chains tech evangelist, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, nice to meet you, Stanley and Siri. How are you guys? So, my name is Sumil. I'm working as a BSc Tech Evangelist in Binance. Yeah, this is a quiet introduction. I think I have nothing more that I can tell. Yeah.
But I guess you would be able to add more value to the questions which are coming up. And
Yes, exactly.
as a moderator, I have a bunch of questions which was most requested in the Discord servers and the Telegram groups. I traded to them, which I felt are like most important questions, which we should have the answers from the great experts of the industry. So, my first question is, why do we need the Bruno upgrade? Stanley, I would like you to take it. Like, why? What is Bruno, and like, why do we need it?
Okay. So basically, for Bruno updates for Binance Smart Chain, there's a lot of new features and improvement bring by this release. But as a CTO for the Web3 and infrastructure provider, I will say I will cover the features mostly related to our service. So basically, I think for the Bruno, this time they introduce a features called deep sync mode. So I think all of us has experienced the difficulty to keep Binance Smart Chains up to sync or serve larger requests for past months. So actually, this is a systematic challenge for Binance Smart Chain overall. But I think I treat this as the first task or first attack trying to solve it. Basically, for this time, according to the specification, it can improve the synchronization efficiency of 30%, oh sorry, 60%. But to be very fair, honest with you guys, at Anchor we have supercomputers. Not all the community member can have it. So to us, right now, it's all up and running. So yeah, I think it's a very good progress. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Got it. And the next question is, how will it improve the network? Yeah, syncing is one issue which all node operators have been facing, and it's something which a lot of people have been trying to tackle in the past. But there's also a talk about the BEP 95 protocol, which will also be executed, and which is more concerned about burning of tokens and stuff like that. Silly, why do you think this is an important milestone for the network's upgrade?
Yeah, so yeah, first, yeah, thank you, Stanley, for sharing the experience from the tech side. I think I can cover this topic more from maybe from an economic model side. So I think the Bruno introduced one of the significant changes, which the community cares about, is the burning mechanism of our the transaction fee that's collected. So this will be, in my opinion, similar to the EIP 1559 on Ethereum, where 10% of the transaction fee will be directly burned on the BSC. Although this might affect the staking income for the stakers and for the validators, but I believe that this mechanism can greatly benefit the value of BNBs. And from the just the iterate a little bit more on what Stanley has just mentioned, the deep sync mode. I think that has helped us to synchronizing our node as well. So as Stanley mentioned, as a service and infrastructure provider, sometimes we have access to crazy spec computers and the infrastructures, but we have also done some internal testing using the latest upgrade on some of the lower spec nodes, and we have seen some of the nodes that has greatly improved the synchronization performance. So from the economic side, I think that the token burning will be great for the overall value of BNB, and from the tech side, I think the diff sync can help the community to better manage their node.
Got it. Got it.
Mhm.
And you're talking about the specifications. Let's come to that. Now, to this upgrade to be proceeded in all the nodes and like all the node operators to like update their systems to like bring to like the uh, to an even playground. What are the minimum requirements and how should a single node operator go about this upgrade? Like, can you walk us through the process?
Okay, sure. I can go ahead first. So, because at Anchor we have both the validator and also the full node. We treat them separately. Of course, the validator is much more important than the full node. So, the first experience I would like to share with the community is it's always gracefully shut down. So, so I mean, yeah. So I mean, obviously, a lot of community member or even an Anchor, we manage the process using the daemon management software like system control or supervisor, right? But unfortunately, they all have the timeout mechanism. So if you run the restart and it take a while, it's not because it's dying, it's just because it take a lot of time to write the data into the disk. Unfortunately, this daemon or process management tools will shut down the service automatically, which will break down the local storage. Next time when you install, next time when you start your service, it will spend a lot of time to repair the DB and also potentially have unexpected result. Sometimes the node even break. If you are doing that use for your validator, it will be disaster. You will maybe punished or even in jails very easily. So yeah, that's why the very important, I think the most important suggestion I have here is to always gracefully shut down. And also for the full node side, yeah, for me, we always start for any major updates. We always start with one node first, and to make sure get familiar with the upgrade process, to make sure it's fully compatible with the previous data set. Once you have approved that or validated this kind of process, and then you can put that into the script and automate that service for the rest of your full node. And also for the validator, we highly recommend to have a backup node. I know the hardware for the validator is very expensive, but always have a backup node. So just in case something wrong with your major node, you have another node that can directly switch to. Yeah, so I think this is the major suggestion we have on the operation side to the community. As far as for the hardware, I think for Binance Smart Chain, CPU is not the major issues. So we use, based on our experience, the AMD Ryzen. The specific number I think is 5950. I think that model is more than enough or more than sufficient to provide Binance Smart Chain's service. For the memory, our recommendation is full node is 128 gig. For the validator node or archive node, it's more than that. Sometimes even it's like 256 gig at least. For the disk size, that's an interesting topic. That's an interesting topic. For the full node, I was at 8 terabyte. 8 terabyte is a pretty safe number. Usually, you want to twice the disk size you are using. For the validator, that's a monster. I will says right now at Anchor, I will says it's around 17 terabyte already for the validator. So I don't know. I suggest you at least have a 30 terabyte machine to run a archive valid to run a archive to run archive node. Otherwise, it's not possible to power that monster, I would say.
Yeah, great. Silly, would you like to add something up?
Yeah, sure. I think Stanley has shared some great insights on how to operate the validator and as well as a full node and archival node. So I think one thing that I think Stanley mentioned very well is the always have a backup node ready for your either validator or full node. Sometimes have backup for the full node can help as well. But for validators, one thing that I have to mention is that from my perspective, from a business side, during migration, you have to be very careful. So make sure that your original node is completely down before you bring up the backup node or during the migration. Otherwise, the double sign will be very painful. The penalty. So
That's 10K BNB penalty. So
yeah.
Oh.
So
everybody
imagine
should avoid that. Yeah.
yeah, imagine the houses you can buy with that amount of token. So yeah, be very careful with that. And also, as a from the user perspective, I think, from what I can see is that by operating a, full node, remember to use the diff sync as we have mentioned before when you are starting a new node, and always have your own data backed up. If you don't have the access or have the means to back up your own data, and as Stanley mentioned, yes, the data is monstrous because of the transactions and the data we have on BSC. So if you don't have access to your own data backup facility, then you can always try the latest official snapshot provided by the team. And also sometimes if you don't have a close knit community that you have your own like a peer set, then I would recommend that you to use the latest official configure.toml file that's provided by the team as well, because we have found out that connecting to stable peers can actually really helpful to speed up the synchronization process for your node, for your full node. And also, if you know how to do this, sometimes you can temporarily turn off the RPC port during the synchronization. We find out that this can help you with the synchronization. And of course, after the node is fully synced, you can bring that back up again.
Got it. Now, this is quite over the top of my head because I'm never worked with node operators, like nodes and validated things and stuff. But as a BSC developer and a developer who builds dApps on top of the BSC ecosystem, how will it change my experience? How will it change what I'm building, and what should I change from my side? By representing all the BSC developers, what should we change? Rumil, would you like to take this question?
Yes, for this upgrade has no effect on the regular BSC users and the developers. Other than the introduction of real-time burning mechanism, this upgrade requires the attention of the full node operators, validators. For the full nodes operators, they should have make sure that they upgrade their software before the hard fork. Okay, failing to do so, operator will not be able to sync with the upgraded Binance Smart Chain peers validators node. Also, they will not be able to connect or send transactions. Yes, and in order to upgrade the operators, they should have to make sure they fulfill the minimum system requirements that Sally and Stanley already shared. That what are the system requirements? It plays a very major role for the upgrade. Yes.
Got it. So as a developer, nothing's changing. It's the same interface.
Yeah, one thing I would like to add on, sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, is that so for the current Go Ethereum based implementation of Binance Smart Chain Client, so for the disk, always choose NVMe instead of
Yeah.
the regular SSD. That definitely can help a lot. So there's a bloody lesson learned from that. So if you want to make your node very stable, definitely choose NVMe.
I think that would be very helpful in saving 10,000 BNB. Great. Going ahead, how will the Bruno upgrade improve the BSC ecosystem in the perspective of a normal day-to-day user and like a participant? Silly, would you like to take this question? Stanley, sorry.
Uh, okay.
Stanley, silly. Anyone can take it now. Come on. All of us are BSC users.
Okay, silly. This time you go first.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. So I think first, as we mentioned, if I understand correctly, Sean, you're interested in how the new upgrade will impact the ecosystem, right?
Yeah, as
Okay.
as a user's perspective, from the user's perspective.
Okay. Okay. As a user, I think what happens is that as we mentioned, the improvement of the ecosystem. If you are just a normal user using your API or using the RPC endpoint, then what we can expect is that we should be expecting the BNB be more valuable in the near future. And also, as mentioned, if you're using the RPC endpoint or using any of the full node services, if you're running it yourself as a user, then you should be seeing a much stable environment on your own node setup. If you follow the recommended setup, and also for the developers, as user as well, uh, I think it will be easier for them to manage the full node and to achieve whatever they're developing on their infrastructure. But for others, if you're running DeFi or DApps, if you're finding it hard to manage still, then as Stanley mentioned, you can always seek out RPC service provided by Anchor, by Stones, and we are always here to help. Feel free to contact us, and we'll be helping you with the issues on the BSC network as well. So we are here to run the business, but also here to help the whole ecosystem, help the community to build the ecosystem better.
Okay, I can add something before we turn to Romel. I think this definitely for Bruno update is definitely one of the first steps the Binance team trying to speed up or increase the capacity of performance of Binance Smart Chains. So I always would like to give a example. My favorite example is rpc.phantom.tools. Basically, that is a tools to power RPC service or API service for Phantom. The successful story is that that tools is nothing but is the aggregator of all the RPC node across the globe. This is a Anchor power or Anchor branded tools. So this tool is very, very easy to use, very, very easy to access, very, very easy, very, very stable tools. However, the major contribution for Anchor here is just adding the aggregation layers for the node itself. I mean, a stable node or a stable client provided to it's not very important to the community, and also it can introduce to 3-win situations for the infrastructure provider, for the community member, and also for the team as well. So I mean the technology itself is really, really cool. However, for the client it's very, very cool. However, as I mentioned, a very easy to access, a service very easy to access with the effort both for the provider and also a stable client, and will also help the can also help the stableness and also the popularity of the entire community or ecosystem itself. So that's the that's the experience I would like to share.
Got it. And Ruby,
Sure.
would you like to add anything?
Yes. Let me add some value on it. Definitely, this Bruno upgrade improves the BSC ecosystem. The first thing is the burning of the gas fees can speed up the burning process of BNB and improve the intrinsic value of BNB. BNB holders will also decide how to dispatch the cash reward of BSC, how the through the staking reward of the validators and delegators may decrease in BNB amount, and the reward will be value will be in the dollars may increase the value in the long run with the increase of BNB value and a more active ecosystem. Also, we have introduced a new governable parameter burn ratio, which will be introduced in the validator set contract. The change of burn ratio will determined by BSC validators together through a proposal vote process based on their staking system. So this might be a best uh, improvement that we have did for the BSC ecosystem in this Bruno upgrade version 1.1.5. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. And I would like to move on to two individual topics now, the full nodes and the archive node sync issues. Just to be clear for the audience, the full node is a node that stores all the blockchain data, whereas an archive node is a node, again, which stores the all the blockchain data and an archive of the historical states which it has been through. Now, coming to the full nodes, Silly and Romil, I think you guys would love to take this question. Why is the issue existing so far? The syncing and like the slowing down and like getting like rampantly out of sync. Why is it even there in the first place? What's the issue with it?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I will share first. So I think the BSC ecosystem has experienced some unprecedented growth when compared to any of the other networks. So uh, I think from our statistics, with the daily transaction volume reaching, I think a staggering 16 million. That's about 10 times of Ethereum. To run the stable node in such a distributed system and then maintain the data synchronization and verification at the same time is challenging. We have to uh, acknowledge that, but it is essential to have your high performance instances, resources, and also have the backup by an sort of an expert team with rich experience to maintain your own operation. So from our we have been in business for almost 4 years now, and with our experience, I think from what we can see is that operate the platform or your infrastructure available for your application or for your user in the BSC ecosystem can be challenging at the time. But we have also to acknowledge that the growth that BSC's ecosystem have experienced. So this is like a double-edged blade. It creates more responsibility on our node operators or infrastructure service providers, but also we are happy to see that the such a growth that I have achieved in the ecosystem. So for instance, we have a platform that's dedicated to provide full node services, RPC API endpoints or archival API endpoint on our platform. So our nodes built on our platform will have the full set of services, including disaster recovery, monitoring, and auto scaling of the resources enabled on our platform. And yeah, so at any time, if you find it's challenging to run your own infrastructure, feel free to reach out to our team. We would be happy to help and even provide a solution for your team as well.
Got it. And Romil, would you like to add up?
Yes, for the full node one that I have seen in the community on the GitHub that most of are facing was the syncing issues. That their syncing issues is very very rare, and most of are complaining there. We have also published our in FAQ questions that validators question about the thinking issues. But let me share a couple of things here that you guys have to do for to resolve the sync issues. Number one is that you must have to keep pairs at around 30, either too large or too less is not suggested. Okay. Second one, the enable snapshots. Snapshot is another format of state world. It is designed to improve the performance. You can always set into the queue, upgrade to version 1.5, and if sync is it must be enabled. Okay. Third one, try to reduce the amount of pairs from 30 to 50. More pairs need more resources, as you know, and make sure you are connected to enough pairs with net.pair count command. Also, the first and the most important thing, you must have to upgrade your hardware. Okay, as Stanley already suggested, you rather than if you are using the SSD, to you have to use the NVMe. Okay, with hard size as well, and must cover your CPU resources as well. So if you follow these best practices, I don't think so that you guys will face the node syncing issues in the full node. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay,
Stanley.
Yeah, I can add something as well from the technical background. So basically, the major reason is right now, the current implementation is based on Go Ethereum, and the original design is finished a couple of years ago. So unfortunately, the technical design is not serving the purpose of the usage as what we have right now. So for example, it uses level DB. It didn't separate the read and the write into different process, and also the indexing process is not optimized. And also, all these things add up to make it really hard to scalable for that node. As Silly mentions, we have to do a lot of step or a lot of effort here to make it work on the production levels. However, one thing I really would like happy to mention is Anchor is writing or help BSC to migrate to a new client which called Aragon for BSC. So actually, we as of yesterday we barely make it up and running, and it's right now it's fully it's in the syncing process right now. So it's actually on one of the most advanced hardware node. So according to the data what we have right now, it can be fully synced within 2 days for archive node, and it's very impressive. So I would suggest everybody can take a look at our open source project, Aragon for BSC. It's in our GitHub account, and I think this is the client to solve the major problem in the future for Binance for Binance client.
Yeah, those were so many good additions. Thanks, Stanley and Ramil. And I loved what Silly added in the double edged sword thing. Like, as a great person always said, with more powers, more responsibilities do add up. And I guess we are, as the Binance Smart Chain community and like the developers, the team of developers and node operators are doing the right thing to enhance user experience. Moving on. Stanley, would you like to give a few tips and troubleshooting guides on like how exactly to execute and like start up a full node all by ourselves?
Okay, to be honest, I think to run a full node is quite simple. Yes, you just basically download the snapshot from Binance Smart Chain GitHub, and download the latest executable from the client side, and yeah, basically up and running. So I think the major constraint or the major bottleneck, it could be your network speed. So for instance, it's download speed. At Anchor, because again, we use the enterprise solutions to power our RPC service, so we can set up it pretty quickly. Usually, it's within 12 hours. We can make the full node from a hardware, a bare metal hardware, to a fully serving Binance Smart Chain full node. Yeah, so that is quite simple process. If anyone or any community member to meet the requirement, to meet difficulty here. So a common difficulty here, what I will always suggest is to turn from SSD to MEMV, and also to make sure you have very good bandwidth. I think this is the key. For archive, again, that's different topic. Yeah, we can save it for later. I think since we have a dedicated archive session.
Yeah, good. We'll catch up with that. And another question, the well asked question is: are there any alternate services on RPC nodes? Celia and Stanley, both of you guys can take this question. So, what do the members like? This is just a personal question. What do they mean by alternate services for RPC nodes in the first place? And are there any?
So if I can say, basically it's the service provider. I will say if the client or any community member don't want to maintain the node themselves, there are a lot of provider, but here I will only mention Anchor. Sorry for that. Yes. So yeah. So basically at Anchor we have three kind of the service. The first one is what we call the private service or RPC service or API service. Basically, go to app.anchor.com to apply for a new node, and usually it's plug and play. And we have archive solution as well. I think as of yesterday, we keep up to date. If you want to access the latest height or latest data of Binance Smart Chain Archive data, you can get from there. The second one is what we call is decentralized product. That's the RPC or Phantom tools, or for BSC version, we host it at bscrpc.com. So basically, it's a decentralized RPC product powered by the node distributed globally. And also, you can even join as provider. You can even join it using Infura node, using Quick node. You can all provide a servicing power into that protocols. So I think this is the second product you guys can use from Anchor, bscrpc.com. And also the last but not least is Aragon for BSC. That's the new client. But I have to say it's still at early stage. We just make it working as of yesterday, fortunately. Yeah. So it will still take, 1 or 2 weeks. So if anyone want to try it, the performance will be very, very surprising to you, good, because the technical design or the fundamental technical choice is totally different from like 4 years ago. But it still requires some time with the help from Binance to make it mature. But anyone would like to try it at early stage, feel free, and you will feel surprised, I would say.
Anseli, would you like to add up? You're on mute.
So I was trying to eliminate some background noise. So yeah, I think when we are thinking about alternative services on RPC nodes, we are talking about helping the users or the developers within the BSC ecosystem to basically to relieve them of managing their own infrastructure, and to help them to focus on the app, the DeFi product that they are trying to build. And so on that front, I think what we mean is that you can either find our service, like for instance on Instones, we provide node management services for Binance Smart Chain. You can launch the full node on our our platform, and then just basically asking Instone's team to help you manage your own infrastructure, and then the developer can focus on developing the protocols or the applications that they want to focus on. And for even quicker services, I think what the users or developer can do is that they can launch a public API endpoint on our platform. So that's pretty much instance. So launching their own full node still takes a little bit of time, but it's definitely much faster than get everything set up from the ground up. But just using their own system, our platform has data backed up. We can help you launch the full node pretty fast. But if you want something really even faster, for instance, if you want to broadcast a transaction right now, but you don't have your full node synced, and you can do that, you can always launch like an RPC endpoint on Instone's platform. And the good thing about our RPC endpoint is that upon to your certain usage, you can actually use it for free. So that's the one of the services that we provide to the ecosystem. So to benefit the developers and maybe low requirement users to really experience and utilize a BSC ecosystem. But of course, we realize that some developers and users have higher requirements for performance or for number of requests they send per day. We can also help you set up, dedicated API for you, which means that API and that cluster, that infrastructure is only utilized by you and your team. That's it. No one else will have access to that, and that can help you have a better performance and help you to scale with your service as well. And of course, all those mentioned services we also provide for our the archival node as well. So if you need archival data, I think that's something we have been providing on our platform as well.
Got it. And as you talked a lot about archival nodes, moving on to that, Stanley, I think you would like to continue on this tips and setup help and troubleshooting on archival nodes this time.
Yeah. Archive node is something very, very difficult to maintain at the Binance Smart Chain. Current data size, as I mentioned before, it's already more than 17 terabyte. I think one tricky things at Anchor do. So first of all, everybody is more than welcome to run that on a single node. Which what I mean single node is a single hardware or physical servers. However, as I mentioned before, due to the system design using LevelDB, it generates a lot of data, and you will realize for most of the time you will in the database compacting state, which means there are a lot of data in the WAL, WAL, write ahead logging. That's the technology that you usually use by the database to trying to keep high speed read and write or transactional data. But anyway, that's a lot of data, and due to the LevelDB design, it constantly in compacting state, and not much time within 24 hours. In our experience, like only 6 to 7 hours, it actually thinking and start to write data to the database. So one tricky things what we do, and also that's what we suggest. We get suggestion from Binance Smart Chain team is that you can separate archive data into different servers and use a load balancer among them. But it's quite tricky to do, and you need to. So for example, you can put your archive data for the height from 0 to 5 million into node 1, 5 million to 10 million to node 2, and anything beyond 10 million on the node 3. The major reason is I think for the local disk size, once it's reached to 5 terabyte, it dramatically slow down, and the database compacting process will kick in. So that's one trick you guys can do, but it will incur a lot of heavy development. Another thing I will suggest is to try Aragon for BSC for everybody. So we make it working, and it really good performance, I will say. So yeah, I think that's it.
Romil, do you like to add up?
Yes, thanks, Stanley. You give a very good overview and deep information about running the archive node. For in order to run a full node and archive mode, you need to set the sync mode to full and GC mode to archive it. It is extremely challenging to run archive nodes considering the large storage on the BSC. What we are suggesting, we suggest individual developers to use the RPC service provided by the professional companies. Also, we are also providing the endpoint of that if someone has especially required for it. Yes, and this is what we are helping in our nodes and validators groups on the Telegram and the Discord. So if anyone have regarding the issues of the nodes and for the validators one, we strongly recommend you to please come on the Discord channels. We have a Discord channels. Come, and whatever the issues that you have regarding for your nodes, validators, archive nodes, just post it there and you will get your solution there ASAP. Thanks. Yes.
Got it. Got it. And the same question for full nodes is still applicable for archive nodes. Is there any alternate services? Like as Stanley just mentioned, and he intimidated pretty much everyone with saying it's pretty difficult to manage it. What are the alternate services we can have?
I think both me and Silly has mentioned we both have the archive solutions at our company, so everybody can try it. And also one thing I would like to add here and focus on is definitely try bscrpc.com. So this is again decentralized solutions for RPC service, and it's free. We have probably 10 to 15 full node behind it, and we are trying to add archive node once we feel it's ready. I would like to use Aragon for that, since it will only spend 2 days to make it up and running. But definitely, guys, keep a look at it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
So, would you like to add up?
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums up the alternative services. Is that if we find it hard to maintain, try the the different segment for your data, as Stanley suggested. That's we have tried that as well, and we feel it definitely brings up a lot of performance improvement to the BSC archival node. But again, as Stanley mentioned, it involves a lot of development and also the DevOps resources that we have to commit. So if that's something feels a little bit daunting, then of course find the alternative services like RPC services and the funnel service archival API services in the marketplace will help you greatly, at least to keep you moving forward with whatever the applications or the the DeFi product that you're building.
Got it. And that's the bunch and list of questions which we iterated for you guys. I've been looking at the community, and there hasn't been much of valuable questions there. And Discord also, it's pretty silent for now. I guess the audience are taking some time to digest all the information up. So a news for all audience so far. You guys can always ping us in Discord. We have a node support channels just dedicated for this. Feel free to put your questions there. Stanley, Silly, Rumil, and me, we would always be there to help you guys with it. And that said, we come to the end of this session. It was great talking to all of you. It was a very informative session, and I hope the Bruno upgrade will bring a better user experience than what we have so far. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thank you,
Any
Sean,
closing
for
thoughts?
hosting this. Yeah, thank you, Sean, for hosting the event. I think it went very smoothly, and it's very nice to meeting everyone on the stream. So Ramil, Stanley, very nice to meet you also. Stanley, hopefully we can meet in San Francisco when I go back to California. We should definitely meet up.
Yeah. We can chat offline for that. Yes, actually, in 2 hours I will drive to San Francisco office. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm still in Texas, but I think I have a plan to go back to California soon. To visit
Okay.
at least. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
That's it. Thank you, Sean, Stanley, Silly, for your valuable time and hosting this event. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much,
you.
guys.
Pleasure being here.
Have a good day. Bye bye.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Bye.